It's Rhema Brekky on your Friday morning. Good to have your company, Mick, right in the chair with you through until 9. Look, if you're out and about on the roads at the moment, don't forget, of course, those school zones. They are in force until 9:30. 40 k's an hour is the speed limit. And it is that time of the month, really, the end of the month, where we talk mental health matters here on the Breakfast Show. A little bit of a different one this morning as well. A special guest in who has actually graced us with his presence before at a different part of the programming. Phil Newman is in from Epico Church. How you doing, Phil?
I'm good. It graced you with my presence, I think, is a bit of an oversell right there. I think dragged myself out of bed on a cold morning to come and talk. That's a much better picture of what's going on.
Look, I do that every morning, bro. I do it every morning, Phil. I'm all the way there with you, mate. It's good. It's one of those things you got to do it for the love of it. That's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Now, look, this is a little bit of a different one this morning because it's something we don't often talk about too much. Now, I mean, obviously today we're sort of looking at autism, but we're putting a bit of a different edge on it. We will be obviously covering this at length, probably in another monthly segment at times, but we want to talk a little bit about from a different angle this morning and how the church actually deals with autism and things like that. And of course, now, if people probably may have remembered you from back in, I think it was New Expressions you were on once before.
Yeah.
And so just give people a bit of a heads up about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I am wonderful, married to a wonderful wife, got a daughter, but we are pastors of Epico Church. It's a local church on the Central Coast. And we started at this church with a real passion and heart and feel calling to really practically serve community. And so we've put a lot of focus and passion into community work, community programs, and out of that came this idea of Epico Equip. We've got an amazing space. Everything seems set up for us to actually provide a space that can offer workshops, courses, training to equip people. And so we started to dream and talk as a team around what are some topics, what are some things we can offer families on the Central Coast to practically help and practically train and equip people. And we've done a financial workshop. We've done our last one was on a mental health workshop. We've done navigating grief. But the next one that we're doing is raising children with autism, which is why we're here today. And as a church, obviously, we have a great kids program. Mm-hmm. And as every church knows and every school knows, so many families are journeying the nuances, the highs, the lows, the joys, the challenges, the unique journey that is children with neurodivergent, things in their hearts and lives. And so we really want to help people. And can I say, this workshop has had the most immediate and great response out of any that we've done.
Wow, that's amazing. What sort of numbers have you been getting at the workshop?
Yeah, we've had 50. That's the sort of sweet spot. So 20, 30, 40, 50, that sort of space. We aren't chasing numbers. We're chasing real help. Yep. And so we know that some of these workshops will actually be more niche, if you like, or more of a narrow audience, and we are actually okay with that because we want to get to the people and help the people that really need it. But this workshop in particular, schools have really connected with it, been circulating it throughout their school communities, which I've been really blessed by. We've sort of put it out there. Even non-Christian schools are going, families need this stuff.
Wow.
And the fact that it's free, the fact that it's hosted by a church, but it is run by professionals who know what they're doing. And I will say, I'm not a professional in this. I'm a pastor. I'm a dad. I attend these workshops to learn, to educate myself as much as everyone else. And so the connection, the response, I've been really encouraged by, and personally believe the church should be not avoiding these sorts of conversations, but be in these conversations. And that's why I really champion what you're doing here, is because I think the church has so much to offer, but so much to serve in this space.
Yeah, look, this is I'm so glad you're talking around that at the moment, because this is something I don't think that we've done too well in the past, the church, unfortunately. And there's probably a whole lot of different reasons for that, but probably the biggest one is I don't really think we've been that equipped have we?
No.
To be able to really deal with, neurodivergency and all different sorts of mental health issues. I know, I guess one of the I hate to use the word lazy, but I think it's, probably the lazy approach is just, it's, some sort of a spiritual thing. We'll just leave it at that kind of thing. But it's really not most of the time, is it? There's some real issues in people's lives that need to be addressed. And so what are some of the ways that you're finding that, how people are being engaged with this, but how lives are actually being changed? What are some of the things that you're seeing as a pastor?
Yeah, well, I think that word equip, you said it, we circled what do we call these workshops, and that word equip for us is very intentional because it's about resourcing people with tools that they can continue to apply. And I think none of us want an overnight quick fix that doesn't stick. We want to set people up. I want to be set up. Like I want to be equipped in my life with tools that every day, ongoingly, when the expert and the psychologist and the trainer isn't in the room with me anymore, that I've got these tools to be able to keep applying. And so I think that's one of the things that as a pastor I am passionate about is, I preach on Sundays. I preach for people's Mondays, not just Sundays. Right. You know what I'm saying? I want to give people tools from the Word of God, tools from the kingdom that they can keep applying. And I think in this, the church has a responsibility to offer equipping, resourcing tools that people can continue to apply, continue to explore when they are, step number 4 and 5, not just on step number 1,
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Now, I love the fact that this is going into that you're getting so much interest from schools as well. Yeah. This is quite amazing because I know in the past, traditionally, again, it's one of those things, school system is really, it's been set up for a one-size-fits-all approach. It's like, okay, well, here's the curriculum. Everybody's going to be learning the curriculum and we'll just get on with the job. And if you're sort of not keeping up the speed, well, too bad, too sad kind of thing. That's what it's been like in the past. But now there's a whole lot more awareness around this. And what are some of the things that maybe teachers, students are saying to you guys?
Yeah. Well, I'm a pastor. That's my sort of background. My wife works in education support and works with children with autism, with PTSD, with trauma. And it has been enlightening to me as a husband, the conversations that we've had at home, that it is very unique and not just unique, it is very important that these are wonderful families, wonderful children that God has beautifully and perfectly and wonderfully made. And we have a responsibility to understand the nuances and provide environments that are absolutely conducive, not compromised, but helpful, focused, intentional for these amazing kids. And so more and more we're seeing schools, like there are schools on the Central Coast that are built or created exclusively and intentionally for children with these dynamics in their life and these families. But more and more schools are having bigger education support programs within their schools, whole faculties dedicated to providing the support and care and different styles of learning, different styles of education that these wonderful kids really, really need in order to flourish, in order to thrive. So I think the conversation is now for this. And as a church, we're saying we want to be in this conversation. We are not experts as the church. We are called to serve and love. And so to bring these psychologists in and do what we can to give permission and empowerment, that's what I'm hoping can happen from these workshops. And I think all church, I don't know, all pastors, we want to be in this conversation. We want to reach, and it is really like we don't know what we don't know. It can be intimidating. It can be scary. It will be messy, but isn't that the kingdom? That is what it's about.
Absolutely. When you get full of fully messy people, it's going to be full of mess.
You and I included. Maybe I think we're messy too.
Look, both of my hands are up in the air for that one for sure. Phil Newman is joining us this morning from Epico Church. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Phil right after this. Make sure you stick around. It's Rhema, Brekky on your Friday morning. Olivia Lane, Woman at the Well. Good to have your company. Mick Wright with you through until 9. We are in the very last Friday of the month, pretty much. And mental health matters is our topic this morning. We are talking with Phil Newman from Epico Church. And big topic, this one as well, Phil, and probably something that I think is it's really popped up on the radar over the last probably decade or two.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of churches with neurodivergence, particularly autism, and different, even different behavioural aspects of children and young people in the church, and how that is handled. Now, you as a pastor, what are some of the things that, obviously parents are sort of interacting with you, talking to you about things. What are some of the things that you're hearing from parents, and maybe even some of the challenges that they're actually facing?
Yeah, so, as a pastor, we've got kids program, we have Sunday services, and the question is, the desire is that we have all families able and welcomed to attend church. Now, some of our core values are that our church is safe and that our church is authentic. And I am really passionate about that those two values don't need to be in opposition to each other, that families and children can be relaxed and as they are, and that things are safe. And so we know that we would use words like, people would use words like, it can be very disruptive to a service. It can be very noisy in a service. It can be very, we said it earlier, messy in a service. And to that we would say, yep. Because those families are authentic, and those can be authentic, and those families are safe. Now we put things in place, and we that puts the responsibility then on, I guess, team and leaders to go the extra mile to provide further safety and provide further programs and support and opportunities so that everyone can feel safe, everyone can receive, everyone can. But it's like a big yes. These aren't bad things, which typically I think families with neurodiversity in their families would probably feel embarrassed, would probably feel not welcomed, would probably feel like they've had the stern talking to. It's like, no, absolutely not. You are welcome. It is messy. We will make mistakes as we get through this, but we will get through this together. And you are very welcomed and very safe to be here.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big problems that, as you just mentioned, it can be an embarrassing thing for a lot of parents out there with the kids, who may have different levels of spectrum, of autism on the spectrum and things like that. And they're like, well, okay, how on earth is the kids ministry even going to deal with this? What are some of the things that you guys have got in place?
Well, it's that tension of then, as a pastor, I'm thinking of the kids team.
Yep.
And just like school teachers, they are having to provide a level of care and input and guidance for children. And it is, isn't it, a spectrum? If you were to put numbers to the spectrum, there's kids that are number 1 on a spectrum and number 10 on a spectrum, and some on a number 15 out of a 10 scale on the spectrum. And so I have the tension as a leader to make sure our kids team are resourced. And so we have language around boundaries. We have language around working with families, that we are in partnership with parents, that we have kind, gentle, honest conversations, that this is not a transaction, this is a partnership. We want every child to receive the word, every child to experience genuine, safe, authentic community, just as we want their parents to. And so we work with our kids ministry and with our parents, and our church plant is 18 months old.
Yep.
And from the very start, partly because of my wife's and a number of our team actually work with children in autism. So we feel kind of like God has put those people in our church community to really speak to that. And so we're probably quite focused on it as a church to do everything we can to be as healthy as we can be, to be a church community for these awesome families. Some of the things that I think parents struggle with, Mick, is burnout, is stress, is that wrestle of self-care. Put your oxygen mask on before you put up that kind of thing. And And I just absolutely cheer on parents who are journeying this. And I know that for some of them there are highs and lows, and those lows can be low. Mm-hmm. And we need to recognize that and just allow that and be present for people and parents in those sorts of seasons.
Yep, absolutely. Now, look, you guys have got something pretty big happening in August at Epico. So we can wrap up on this morning. So if you want to let people know some of the details about this.
Yeah, we have a free, everyone say free, workshop called Raising Children with Autism. It's at 5 p.m. on Sunday, the 9th of August at Epico Church. We're at Erina. And we have 2 registered psychologists who are also behaviour support specialists, Emma McCaig and Darcy Hill. Mm-hmm. They do this for a living professionally. It's not me getting up there and giving my opinion. It's these 2 awesome professionals presenting this workshop, and we're doing this workshop for carers, parents, grandparents, educators, anyone who wants to be equipped in a family dynamic where there is neurodiversity. We're going to be talking about all those different dynamics, and like I said earlier, hopefully give you tools to be able to, as a family, continue to walk forward, continue to do, quote unquote, better, to be able to be set up to continue to grow healthier and healthier and healthier in your journey. I think it's also good that attendees can actually connect.
Yep.
That isolation can be something that so many people with all types of all the challenges that we face. None of us are meant to go through it alone, and
right.
So even to be able to have a room full of people on a similar journey or in that same space, I think is really important. So everyone is very warmly welcomed and invited. You need to just jump on the website, register. It is free. We're sponsoring it, but it is free just so that we have numbers, just registration for the 9th of August.
Yep. And what's the website that people can go to?
Epico, E-P-I-C-O, epico.org.au. Mm-hmm. And you just click through, pretty obvious, register, and we'll see you there.
Phil, thank you so much for your time, mate. Look, I could have spent another hour chatting to you about all these things. There's so many other things I would love to bring up, particularly in the ministry meets neurodivergence field, and it's just a whole nother realm opened up there. We should do it at a later time for sure. Yeah. Phil Newman's been our special guest this morning on Mental Health Matters, and again, Epico Church is the place that the big event is happening in August. Jump onto the website, that is epico.org. .au. Yep, jump on there and you can register for that one. Stay with us. This is Rhema Brekky. It's your Friday morning. We've got the news coming up next.